All right. I don't know what happened to the intro. Like, I couldn't hear it. I don't think anyone else could. So that sucks. Hopefully, let's do a quick.
I can hear it.
You heard the intro?
Yeah.
The music and everything?
Yeah.
Damn, I couldn't even hear it on my end. It's so weird.
Where's OBS? You're not supposed to hear it.
No, I usually do hear it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, like the way I use OBS, I have music. For example, like when I run our intro, I don't hear it because it's
Intro's
all
fire, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, me
Who put that
and
together, man? Forte?
with work for me as well. It was a collaboration. But
Okay, gotcha. Collaboration.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
But,
okay.
Yeah. But no, when I have it set as a I have it set as a separate scene. So when I run it, it's like just playing a video, and I don't hear it through my headphones through OBS. So I only have it set to hear, like people talking, like during the podcast. All the the background music and all the other stuff is it's just playing a track on a completely different source. So
yeah, I mine like that for my what's it called? For my end stream credits as well too. It's just a music track, about a minute, and it's a media file attachment.
Right, and you just set it to the loop, and there you
yes,
go.
Sir.
Yep.
Okay.
You're not supposed to hear it. You're not supposed to hear it, Enrique.
Well,
I don't know how you got yours set
I
up,
don't know,
but
man. I might be. It sounds like I'm doing it wrong. But yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to BRAP. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. It's halfway through the work week. I can't believe this week is just flying by. But I've been super busy at work. And yeah, so you probably haven't seen me on Twitter much, which is probably a good thing, Deli, right? That I'm not
no,
on.
But I adore your Twitter presence. It's
I know.
The rest of it.
I know. It's so funny. I was like,
it's the rest of Twitter.
I was like, wait, Deli's not following me, and then he's like, and then I was like, oh, okay, now I understand why. Never mind. But no, it's all good. It's all good. It's
he's not what happened?
Yeah, he's not. Well, it's a long story, man.
Okay.
I mean, I can explain it to you later, but I gatekeep my following because I'm really hardcore about not seeing drama on my thread.
Oh yeah, and Enrique's all drama.
Hey, I'm not
him. No,
it's his middle name.
It finds him.
No, I'm not.
His first name is Enrique. His middle name is Drama, and I don't know what his last name is, but it doesn't matter because his middle name is Drama. Enrique D.
Oh man, come on! I'm not
middle initial D for drama.
No, I'm not drama. I just I engage in dialogue. I'll just leave it at that.
You engage in tomfoolery.
It's no, he engages in discussion. It's the re-engagement that leaves the discussion pool. And then when that shows up on my feed, because people, it shows it's like BRAP replied to it, then I just see a long list of thread of argument. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to see this.
Because then says your last name is FOMO, and I absolutely agree. Like that's very fitting. So
yeah, no, absolutely.
My bad. Go ahead, Deli. You were saying.
And then I get heated, and I want to join, but I don't want to do that for obvious reasons. I don't want to. Game developers already get enough flack on the internet for being on social media with transparency. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, I can't even spell today. I said so. By the way, quick shout out to everyone in the live chat. Please retweet the link. Please excuse my spelling. I said please retweet the kink. Yeah, I didn't mean to say that. I meant link.
No shaming here, brother.
Yeah, link, as in Link from Zelda. So
I just would like to say I like to keep my kinks to myself. So
oh boy,
no, I won't retweet it.
I'm glad that you're open at and out and about with it, BRAP. I respect it.
Thank you,
Dilly. That kind of deal.
Oh
I
wow.
respect it.
Free the okay. On that note, we have a special guest this evening. We have a returning guest, Agent Deli, as he's known on the Twitters. Deli, welcome back to BRAP, sir.
Hello, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's always a fun time being here. Obviously, it's a great time talking to you and Mo as well. Hamp, I'm sure will be around here somewhere, but I'm always happily engaging with Hamp as well too. So yeah,
Hamp.
It's a good show. It's a fun time. I like it.
Yeah, Hamp is grabbing coffee. So and then we have making his glorious return, King of KD himself, Slow-mo
Oh
backslap.
boy, I am not the king of KD.
Bro, he really is. Every single time I queue up with him in a game, it's messy, bro.
It
Look,
is messy,
Yeah, it's messy.
but not in
Look.
the way that you said.
I have
Look.
I have freaking Parkinson's, and you're over here with 59% accuracy.
Oh my god! Oh no! Don't bring up actual stats, man. He is bringing up actual stats out here. Good grief! No, look, I am king uninstall as Enrique said right now because I'm done with COD. They fixed the game.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That's unfortunate.
And then I had console guys all like, oh, Slow-mo, I thought PC was so great. And then shout out to Stone. Stone comes through. Let's not act like the PS5 version is running great
that's
too.
Right.
I'm like, it's not.
It's
so,
not.
So the PS5 version is crashing on people. Oh, okay, all right.
There are console exclusive bugs that that happen on the PlayStation 5. I get them a lot actually. I have to restart my app all the time. Like every 5 games. It's a console exclusive, bro.
There you go.
Get it.
Seems like Call of Duty and bugs is a cross-platform feature.
Well, I mean that's if you're not running the BattleNet version.
Right. Yeah, which is I wish I would have got the BattleNet version. I said it the deli last night.
Always go with the BattleNet version, Slow-mo.
No, I don't know, man. The BattleNet version yesterday on me, like I changed the push to talk, and then my game started dipping like 30 FPS, so I had to like reset my graphic settings to low.
Why are you using in-game chat?
Oh, because I need proximity chat because I don't want to get griefed. I want to do the griefing.
Yo, I had to turn on proximity chat because everybody was like, Slow-mo, you're missing out on all the comedy. It is pretty funny. It is very funny when you kill a guy and he's just like, who the is Slow-mo backslap? And I'm like, it's pretty funny.
You're turning on the proximity chat because you're playing DMZ and Warzone?
I'm playing DMZ.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of that too, which is also funny. When you get near other people and then you don't really want to talk strategy anymore because they can hear you. So you're just like,
yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I just feel like this is you guys are all holding the phone wrong.
Banana.
Yeah, I have been slacking on COD. I haven't been playing because I've been playing a game called God of War Ragnarok.
You're still playing that?
I completed it.
Or don't we call that Game of the Year Ragnarok?
No, that would be Elden Ring. Which I know Borbor Contri is alive in the chat. It's gonna, he's I think he said I forget what he said last time he was here about the media bias towards Elden Ring. I forget what it was, but no, I actually I beat the game and I decided to go back and play some of the side missions, and I'm like, ooh, I'm actually enjoying the side missions a little bit more because it's the game I feel like is like I'm exploring a little bit more, and I don't feel like I have to like go through the story. I guess I don't know if that makes sense. I don't feel obligated. It's probably the best way to describe it. So, but I'm enjoying it.
There's no pressure to get back to the main story when you've already completed the main story. And now all you have is just side content and post-game content.
But it's nice, man.
Quests that have opened up since you beat the game. So, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's like, I just get to go my own, basically just go at my own pace and explore and not feel like, oh, my God, I got to figure out what's going to happen next. What's going to happen with Atreus, what's going to happen with Kratos or, it's been nice, and I'm actually trying to beat all the berserkers. I'm at the last one, the king one, who's kicking my ass right now, and that's why I was late. I was, I popped in Discord. I apologized to Deli. I was like, "Hey, Deli, I'm sorry I'm late." He said I lost track of time. So, but yeah, I got to get back to COD though. That sucks. It's not working well for you, Slow-mo. Do you know anything about like updates or anything for the Steam version or? Any patches? They said anything?
I'm afraid of updates because every time they updated the game, it just broke the game even worse for me. So I just uninstalled it. And once I see something that says, "Hey, it's it's great now, I'll reinstall it at that point. Or if I somehow get my hand on the BattleNet version, then I'll play it through that instead of through Steam. Or I don't know, Xbox or PlayStation, whichever.
We need somebody to gift Slow-Mo the BattleNet version.
No one has to do that. I'll take
Good.
it.
I'm
no
not.
one has to do that.
Good. I'm glad you said that.
I will say this though, like I joke around. I do refer to I'll call Slow-Mo King KD, but I do distinctly remember one game. I think the only game I ever played with Deli on COD.
Oh, talk about it. Talk about it. I remember this game.
Man,
legendary.
Deli went out there, had like 55 kills. I was like, yes, Deli. I think you had like 40 something kills. Seriously, like he
had 45 kills.
Yeah, I think it was like 45.
And then at the end of the match, he goes, "Oh, I guess it was an okay match."
Yeah, like, what? He's like, yeah, it was okay.
What?
Sorry.
What? You killed 45 people. They were running away from you. They were hiding in the corner.
I worked hard for those 45 kills.
I mean, Deli was
Allegedly.
Just bodying people.
Allegedly.
I mean, bodying people. Yeah, but what was that? Is that Team Deathmatch? I don't remember. It had to be Team Deathmatch.
Kill confirmed.
It was kill confirmed, and it was on the
highway map.
Highway map where
Is that the map in Mexico?
The border.
I think there's multiple maps in Mexico, but yeah, that was the border.
The border one, yeah. I think the border one, yeah,
with the trucks and
yeah,
vans all over the place, just blowing up left and right. So
that's funny. I've seen like Slow-Mo. It's funny, like we played that map together. I've seen you, and I'm like trying to like flank the position of the other team, and I'll like run into you, but I'll see you, and you'll be like in between the cars. I see you pop up, take one person, pop back down. Run around the corner, pop up, take someone else. I see you take out like 3 or 4 people in a row, just doing that, just popping up, taking them out, crawling again or whatever you're doing, and coming around the corner, just doing the same thing. Like, yeah, it's nasty.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, there's Slow-Mo. I'm like, okay, like he's just out there giving it to people. Oh, it's great, man.
Was
past tense.
Because it's gone.
Yeah.
Off my SSD.
Yeah, no.
Game Activision.
Yeah. Well, Slow-Mo, first, I would say I'm glad you're feeling better, man. I knew you were under the weather last week, man. So.
Oh man, last week was hell.
Yeah.
Absolute hell, man.
It's great to have you back, and we got especially Lee Hampton on. What's up, Hamp?
Not much, man. Not much.
All right. So Game Awards tomorrow night. You guys excited for it?
I am excited to see some new stuff. I want to see new things. I want to see reveals. I don't really care about the awards. I already know who's going to win.
All right, so, let's throw out the only award that matters here. Game of the year. Who wins it tomorrow night?
Probably Elden Ring.
Got
right.
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok?
For me, Ragnarok for me, yeah.
Hamp?
I'm sorry. What was the question again? Who wins game of the year? You can tell how interested I am.
Did you get your coffee, Hamp? Are you okay?
I did get my coffee. This is my thing about game of the year.
Drink your coffee. So it's more than just holding it in your hand. You have to drink it in order to get the benefits of the caffeine.
It's not energy. It's not energy. It's interest. And up until this week, really, the news cycle this week, I was disinterested in Game of the Year. Like it's a data point. I don't get that much out of the show except when Joseph Fares comes on. And so I had kind of committed to, I was just gonna, kind of like I do with the Super Bowl, I was just gonna wake up the next morning and, take the shortcut and just watch all the, whoever aggregates all the new video drops, trailer drops, and then just hit the web page and read like who won, because I don't need all the drama surrounding it. But this week there's been a ton of news stories that look, man, I don't consider myself part of the gaming community, but I love tears. And the saltier they are, the better they taste.
Oh, man.
We're gonna get a lot of salty
like
tears.
Someone so engrossed in the gaming community. So many people say that. Hey, look, I don't care about the drama. But I do love your salty tears. Like I love watching you get so angry over game consoles.
It's
freaking loser. I love
it's
it. Like yeah.
there's some comedy behind that, man. Like it's kind of funny. Like, yeah, I kind of see where Hamp's coming from, but
I'm telling you, my favorite meal these days, man, is the Impossible Whopper meal deal with gamer salty tears along as a side.
oh
So
man.
so I think now I'm gonna watch the game. I'm thinking about watching the Game Awards just so I can kind of firsthand see the unfolding and watch Twitter and watch the gamer tears. As people start to unwind and unhinge themselves.
Yes, we're gonna get the traditional. It's like the Jeff Keighley is clearly on the take with Sony. That's gonna happen tomorrow. That's gonna happen tomorrow night. That is a staple. Like turkey's a staple of Thanksgiving. We are going to see that Jeff Keighley's been bought and paid for. But I'm going to make a bold prediction here for Game of the Year. Who's going to win it? You know who's going to win it? Stray.
Stop it.
Calling it right now, Slow-Mo. Stray is going to win.
No, it's not.
Doubt.
Yeah, big doubt.
Big doubt.
I don't think there's there are some years that there's just a little bit of daylight, right, that you can see through the crack of the windshield for an indie to slide in there, but I don't feel like this year is it.
Look,
if Stray beats Ragnarok, then that would be the equivalent of Macklemore beating Kendrick Lamar out in 2012, 2013 for album of the year. I don't want that to happen. I like Stray. Stray's a cool game, but I don't want that to happen.
Look, I will say anything's possible. So I'm going to go with Stray. I'm going to say Stray is going to shock the world, Game of the Year, and people are going to be upset. And yeah, so that's my prediction for Game of the Year. Stray. Just remember who predicted it correctly when it happens. So we got the man, the myth, the legend, Gaming Forte. What's up, Forte?
What it do? What it do? How y'all doing, man?
Good, Forte.
We need to especially when he drops into the podcast, we need to address him by his proper title, the once and future CEO of GameStop.
Let's go.
That is true. Yes, he is the future CEO. He should be the CEO of GameStop right now, in my opinion.
Man. Yep, I wouldn't be running two stores if I was the CEO.
There you go. See. Yeah. So Slow-Mo, it's not Slow-Mo, Forte, gaming. So award show tomorrow. We're talking about the one thing that everyone's gonna be looking at is Game of the Year. Who do you think is gonna take it tomorrow night?
Did you say Stray's gonna win earlier?
Yes, I did.
Oh Lord.
I know you agree with me.
You're trying to have a riot in more ways than one. Dang. Honestly, I still think Elden Ring's gonna win. I just can't overlook the fact that game was so popular with people that had no business even wanting to even think about playing that game, and that the conversation, and this is what I kind of thought was going to happen, maybe because there's a lot of other games to play now compared to when Elden Ring when Elden Ring came out, there were still quite a few games playing. You still had Horizon that was out then. You had some other game, I think I forget what the other game was that came out around that time. So they had games, but it seemed like the conversation around Elden Ring lasted for quite some time, at least a couple of months. Whereas I still hear people talk about God of War, but not as much as you would think of a game that is considered Game of the Year quality, like not even a month after its just over a month after its release. So unless recency bias kicks in for a lot of people that play God of War and are just enthralled by that story, and I do believe that story is amazing.
That's a great story.
Is amazing.
Great story.
I just think that the overall groundswell of what Elden Ring was able to pull off earlier in the year shouldn't be denied, and I think that's gonna win the day for that game.
And it's interesting. We just got a DLC drop for Elden Ring today. the arena multiplayer. So now it's
too bad the votes are already in, aren't they?
Yeah, the votes are already in. Yeah, but
the votes been in for a while now.
But no, it's we got that, and I did actually try. I played a quick round of the multiplayer. It's kind of interesting. The arena. I played like the 5-on-5. Yeah, it's magic builds are nasty. I had the what's that sword? The Hound, the Bloodhound. Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called, Slow-Mo?
I know Slow-Mo would know.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Oh, with the Bloodhound step.
Oh yeah, Bloodhound step. Yeah.
Yeah, so that sword Slow-Mo. I mean, I'm almost one-shotting people in you talking
about the Bloodhound sword. Oh, that one's that wasn't I don't think that was a one shot.
No, I'm saying like I have it leveled up so high, like it's like I'm almost one-shotting people with it. The Blood Fang. Thank you, True Serum.
Yeah,
the Bloodhound Fang. Bloodhound Fang. Yeah, I'm almost like you do that like that L2 attack, that special attack where you kind of like I forget what he does. He does like it's almost like a spinning attack.
It's a spin, and then he jumps, and then he comes down on the on his enemy. Yeah, I do like the Bloodhound step though that Deli mentioned. That one you kill one of those like I forgot what they called them, but those bosses that just walk the bridges at night. The one over there near where everyone used to dodge the boulder to grind runes. Is it runes?
Yeah, runes. Not runes. The money. Is it runes?
Yeah, but is it runes? It might be runes. Anyway,
when the last time you actually played the game, Slow-Mo?
Like last summer.
You could just call it Souls.
So yes, souls, runes, whatever your currency, which you need to level up and everything. Anyway,
who didn't enjoy that rock, man? That's not a reference to crack, by the way. But right, so I mean, like,
it was a good way to level up when you are very low level.
Slow-Mo,
once you hit about like 50, it's no longer useful, and you should probably go to that underground area.
No, the area where you shoot the arrows. Remember the bird?
Yeah, the bird. Yeah,
remember that? Oh my god! See, that's what's crazy about that game. I literally spent hours. I would get a party chat with T-Rock, and we would just be partying up and just grinding like souls. I just want to know how many
podcasts you actually did while you were doing that.
Are you asking me?
Oh, I know Slow-Mo did. I definitely did a couple of. I definitely did.
Rolling a rock across the ground for about a good couple of podcasts.
I definitely did too, man.
You just go with the autopilot. You don't even have to worry about it. You just do the podcast.
Yeah,
you just grind in room.
I'll do your podcast.
I would shoot that bird, watch you fall off the cliff, get a buck. Then I would go down to those weird-looking guys, and I would just slaughter those weird-looking guys that was just sunbathing and underground or whatever the heck they were doing. And then I would just
what were they doing? What were they doing, Slow-Mo?
And then I would restart it all. I have no idea. Sleeping.
They were like They were like having a siesta.
They were just hungover. They were definitely.
They did look hungover. They look hungover. Yeah,
and they were really easy to kill. And you just murder them. They were at least a good like 2 to 3K a pop for killing each one of them. And then when you all said and done, that was like 25,000-30,000 runes right there in 2 minutes. You just go back to the grace and just start on over again. Easy way to power yourself up and be at a good level to take on the content.
Yeah. Wow. What's up, Warrior Wart? Yeah. So real quick, a couple things that Game Awards related. There's some confirmed reveals. 505 Games teased a game reveal with a video. It's featuring actor Michael Madsen. It seems like some people are suggesting this could be like a GTA type open world. Huh?
From Heat?
What's that?
Michael Madsen from Heat?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Some people are saying that this game could be like maybe like a GTA type open world game. There's gonna be a Baldur's Gate 3 reveal.
I'm excited for that.
Tekken 8 will be there. New trailer for Destiny 2. Lightfall, Slow-Mo, no, not Slow-Mo. Forte. I'm sure are you looking forward to that, Forte?
Yeah, kind of, but we'll see.
Come on, don't lie to us, Forte. You know you're gonna buy it.
And Forte's got
I already bought it.
Already bought it. Speaking of already already bought.
bought
You
it.
know, Babylon's Fall? Question mark.
Oh, you want to see? Well, we ain't got cameras. It's sitting right here. I do.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I have it sitting right here.
You
I
busy?
haven't had time to do anything.
It's okay.
other
If
than go to
if
work.
you're busy, you're busy. I respect it.
Oh no, I'm literally looking at it right now. And guess what? I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I need to find time to go to the freaking
I am
post office.
so excited to review that game.
When those
play
servers
in
go
general.
offline, the 18th?
The 20, like my birthday.
Oh, your
20,
birthday.
yeah, 21st, 22nd of February.
Oh man.
All right, and then we got a new fantasy hunting game. Wild Hearts will be revealed, and then Star Wars Jedi Survivor gameplay will
That's
be
gonna be-
revealed. Now
that's gonna be
I loved I love the last. What was the last one called? Star Wars Jedi
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. Yes, I love that
Actually
game.
reinstalled that on because it was on
So
sale
good.
on Steam for
So
like
good.
$6.
$6. Are you serious?
Yeah, I think it's still on. I think there's a new sale. I think it's still under $10. So if you want to get it for dirt cheap, it's very cheap on Steam right now. I think it may be like $7 or $8 at this point, but who cares, right? It's $2. But it's I reinstalled it and played maybe like a couple of hours, on like off Steam version. Played it at max. Oh man, it's freaking beautiful. It's still a great game. I think I'm gonna run through it again, and then also probably play through it again right before Survivor comes out. Survivor, actually, maybe I'll wait because like the rumor is that
March.
Survivor is supposed to be March, and it'll be announced tomorrow that it's March with a big trailer and everything. And if it is March, if that's true, then I'll just wait and then play it in February, and then I can just kind of like how I did with God of War.
Oh
where
yeah,
I
it's
played
actually a
through
good idea.
2018 again, and then as soon as I got done with 2018, it was Ragnarok was like coming out the very next day or a couple of days, and I just played it. I just kind of went from one to the other immediately. So I think that's what I'll do with Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, there's
Is the new Breath of the Wild March or May?
March.
Yeah.
So new Jedi is going to come out against new Breath.
Yeah. I need to pick up Jedi Fallen Order, so I probably will pick that up for the PlayStation.
So good.
soon.
So good, Deli. Such a good game. Yeah, so it's. I mean, it was one of my favorite games last year, or whenever. When did it come out? Was it last year?
I thought it was 2 years ago.
Maybe it was 2 years
Am
ago.
I wrong? Yeah.
Fallen
I
Order?
don't.
Well, maybe
Fallen Order.
2018. Maybe let me double check.
2018. Nah, it wasn't 2018.
I don't think it was 2018.
Nah, I think it was like 2019. I
I think it
think.
was 2019, 2020.
Yeah, I think it was right before the pandemic. That sounds
Yeah.
about right.
It came out. Yeah, you're right. It came out November in 2019.
Yeah, right before the pandemic. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It didn't. I actually now I kind of recall. I think people were kind of wondering if it was even going to be in the Game Awards because it was so close to the deadline. I don't really think it got much.
It didn't. It didn't get nominated that year, and it didn't get anything for the next year because it came out so
It got
late.
forgotten. Yeah, it was basically
Mhm.
forgotten.
Yeah.
It was a really good game, man.
Yeah.
I wonder what if the Michael Madsen game is a sequel to something he's been in before.
Reservoir Dogs, a movie, like Woyward said.
Now he's actually
I know.
done a significant amount of voiceover work on games. He did Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which of course it's not that. He was in Dishonored, which of course it's not that. He was in Driver, Grand Theft Auto 3 as Tony Cipriani, which obviously it's not that. He was in a game called Narc. I don't even know if that was. But then he was in Reservoir. Apparently there was a Reservoir Dogs the game. He was in The Walking Dead season 2 of the Telltale game series, and he was also in a game that I've heard an occasional peep of people being interested to see a reboot or a sequel to True Crime: Streets of L.A.
Oh, that's right. He was in True Crime Streets. But there's been a rumor for a long time that the Driver series might be rebooted.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, and the rumor is that Sony might do that, but that's been a rumor for freaking ever.
I just need a LA noir in 1960s Shanghai. That's all I need. It'd be sick. Good times.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. Joseph Ferris will be there presenting Hamp. So yeah, that should be interesting. Now there are some rumors.
And,
yeah, go ahead. Man.
And about good timing for him to be announcing whatever their next project is.
Which I'm excited for. I support everything that Joseph Ferris does.
Yeah, no, he's you know, his I mean, we talked about that game. I don't know if it was on this show. Maybe it was on Crossfire. I don't remember. But what It Takes Two was actually, I thought was a really great game. But there are some other, there's some rumors that we may see Diablo 4 announcement.
Better.
Would you say, Forte?
We better. Stop hiding. They need to stop hiding that game.
It'd be nice if we saw Diablo 4 announcement. That would be big.
I just want to mention, since we brought up that, I mean, it's a way outside the plate possibility, but with Driver, like the cast of Driver included, I mean, in addition to Michael Madsen, Iggy Pop, Ving Rhames, Michelle Rodriguez, and Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Sound like a movie.
Yeah.
That it does.
Yeah. Was it? No. Who was the developer behind Driver again? Who was that?
It was Reflections Interactive and published by Atari. I'm pretty sure Reflections Interactive is no longer around. I'll look that up.
But there was there was 3 iterations of Driver, I think, right?
Driver San Francisco.
Yeah, I don't know about the sequels. Was Driver with a 3 in the name actually the third game in the series?
It was.
Okay. So it would have gotten its start back on, I don't know, on PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
Maybe. Not PlayStation 2, but I mean, it must have been around since PlayStation at least.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor. We have 64 people here watching right now. Please smash that like button. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe and hit the bell notification so you get alerted when we go live. So rumor that Bethesda may be there with Starfield too. What do you guys think? You think we see a Starfield?
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't want to see nothing Starfield if it ain't got a date at the end of it.
We might see Redfall. I think we might see Redfall, but I think I kind of almost gotta say we've seen too much Redfall. Maybe not.
No.
I think we're gonna see Hellblade too. I think
that's what I want to see.
We could see Redfall. I mean, we've seen like 800,000 minutes of footage from Forspoken, so give us some Redfall.
True.
There's that. Yeah. Crash Bandicoot's another rumor, by the way, guys.
If these games ain't being followed up by release dates, then I don't want to see them.
Oh, okay, Forte.
While we have Deli on, I just want to ask this one last thing. I hope about Driver. Hey, so Reflections Interactive was apparently then I think renamed, or maybe was previously named Ubisoft Reflections. So it was actually an Ubisoft studio.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know anything about whatever became of those guys?
I mean, as far as I'm aware, I mean, they're still working for Ubisoft and stuff, where they got rebranded.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like the internet trace like it like talks about them and then it just like dribbles off. It's like the disappearing studio.
Probably got rebranded.
Yep.
As,
yeah, that's like Ubisoft Location X or whatever.
Yeah, Ubisoft LA or whatever it may be. I was located in San Francisco for quite some time, so yeah. I mean, this kind of stuff pops up 24/7. I mean, Ubisoft's a huge brand; they can really do anything, and they have done everything and anything. So,
yeah.
Bermuda Triangle of video games.
That's funny, Forte.
Ubisoft Scranton. It's like The Office.
Ubisoft Scranton. Oh my! Hey, that's where Sleepy Joe's from.
Oh Lord.
That's hilarious, Ubisoft Scranton. By the way, I don't have anything against Sleepy Joe. Someone's gonna be like, "Oh, you do?" No, I just think it's a funny nickname. There's another rumor, Slow-Mo. This might make you prick your ears up a little bit. Dragon Age, the new Dragon Age.
No.
He don't care about that. Trust me.
Look,
he stopped caring about that. He stopped caring about that a year ago. He just want to see he want to see gameplay. He don't want to see trailers anymore. Listen,
if they do one more less than 1 minute
that's funny
trailer for Dragon Age 4, I'm telling you, we will be live tomorrow. I will freaking lose it right there on stream. I'm sick and tired. They have shown this game every video game awards, but not the game. Some daggone trash like concept art looking teaser trailer. How many teaser trailers do you have? Like, it's supposed to be one teaser trailer, one, and then after that, stop teasing me. Just show the game. Just show
man,
teaser trailer,
some crowd,
launch trailer, launch the game. This is the method, okay? And if you're not doing this, it's they got teaser trailer, teaser trailer.
With slow-mo, they haven't shown.
No,
with slow-mo, they haven't shown you the high definition version of the logo yet. They haven't shown you all the cracks in the.
They
in the
didn't
logo.
have a name.
That's what I'm saying. They did. They just showed you. They showed you a low res version of the logo of the game, and then they haven't shown you like the cracks and the indentations and stuff in it. And they're going to zoom in to 600% and let you see all the fine details. And they're going to have people like little army men running across the top of the D and Dragon.
I see Forte just want to make me mad right now.
They haven't shown you slow-mo. They haven't shown you that yet, though. You know how it is. They gotta slow walk this because that game's not coming out to 2026.
Wow.
So I just want to. I thought this was going to be the last thing. The well on this pop culture reference, the studio reference goes deeper and deeper.
Oh my God, are you still?
Well, Ham's go down the rabbit hole with this thing.
Ham,
with the driver.
Go ahead and say what you're gonna say, because I'm gonna say what I want to say.
This is actually super hilarious, particularly with you and Slow-Mo being on the show. So Deli, you probably actually talked to these guys because these guys worked on Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah.
And then Slow-Mo, they actually worked on one of your favorite games, The Division 2.
Who are these guys again?
Ubisoft Reflections, the people who did Driver. So, I mean, unfortunately, this all confirms.
They were one of the support studios that help make the Division.
Yeah.
They made the trash cans across all the cities.
They got rebranded and consolidated with Ubisoft Leamington. So, they're... Okay. Yeah.
What happened to Ubisoft Scranton, then?
Oh, shit.
They got bought out, bro.
They got bought out, okay.
Mm-hmm. Acquired by
Slow-Mo, did you hear about Ubisoft Oxon Hill?
Oxon Hill.
Yeah. You don't want to work at Ubisoft Oxon Hill.
Toxic work culture.
Unfortunately, that all confirms that it won't be a Driver game announced tomorrow, since it's 505, and the people. I mean, and Ubisoft owns the Driver IP. Apparently.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. What else? And then there's like the there's always these crazy rumors. Death Stranding 2 teaser. Final Fantasy 16. Yoshi P's going to be there, so that there's something Final Fantasy 16 related. There's also a rumor about Metal Gear Solid 5 remake. Did you guys hear about that?
Metal Gear Solid 1, not 5 remake. What?
Yeah, the 5 remake came out,
but
the one
Kojima as well.
Yeah, Kojima.
Remake?
Why would you make a 5 remake? The game already looks incredible.
Good, yeah,
the one
on a toaster.
Yeah, Deli, the one is what you heard and we've heard for a while now that's kind of in the works. So
go ahead and give me a 1080p version of 4, though.
Yeah, I'd take a 1080p version.
Oh, yeah, 4 still holds up, man.
Yeah, 4 holds up. Just give me a 1080p version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take that.
All 12 hours of cutscenes, too.
Oh, man. It's literally the lift of a feature film. All the Lord of the Rings movies fit into one place.
Big collection, yeah.
Yeah, so they
how long you think Snake was? How much do you think he was smoking cigarette in the load screen on that? How long you think it would take him on the new systems?
Hours. He probably wouldn't be smoking at all.
He probably wouldn't be smoking at all.
Yeah, you're right. Probably wouldn't be smoking at all. What was that? Was what? Guns of the Patriots, right?
Yeah. 2008.
God, that came out in 2008. Does this still wait? You said it still holds up, Slow-Mo or Forte?
Man, that game looked good, bro.
Still, like today?
That game looks good.
That game looked incredible.
That game looks good. I mean, like obviously things are rough because PlayStation 3 and the textures look flat and stuff like that. But the facial animations and the mocap was immaculate. Yeah,
that game was like a movie though. From what I remember, I feel like I was watching a movie.
Actual movie game, yeah.
That's when they let Kojima go full Kojima. So we just gonna let you. We're gonna let you bore us to death.
That was my first Metal Gear game that I was that I've known of, because at the time I like saved up money to buy a PlayStation 3, and like the demo was out and it was being advertised for it, so I went and downloaded it and played the demo like 800 times.
Man,
And
the
then I
demo
was,
was longer than Thanksgiving dinner.
oh,
When it
and then I
came
was
to
like,
it came to all that.
I was like, this is great. So I bought the Legacy pack, and then retroactively
Nice.
went back and played Metal Gear, and then I ended up getting it on the PlayStation 2 and playing it in the original format, and yeah, huge fan, by the way.
It's a good game.
Yeah, that was a good. God, I can't believe I can't believe he still looks good like that though. That's wow.
That's all that game got. Looks.
Yeah.
Gameplay's good too, though.
Oh, there's actually gameplay. I'm joking.
I mean,
Literally felt like a movie, man.
It depends on how much you skew it. You know, it's 70% video and 30% gameplay.
Yeah.
Actually, probably actually 15% gameplay, because 15%, the other 15%.
Well, you could beat the game in
around.
4 hours, under 4
Yeah.
hours. There's an achievement to do so, but
Yeah.
oh,
You just gotta skip the movies.
yeah, let me answer this question in chat. Pixel Slappa said, "Hey, Delhi University speaking, still recruiting. Always looking, always looking. So apply. There's always positions open. Shoot your shot. You never know. You know, if you want to get in the games industry, I would suggest shooting for either an intern position, because those intern positions are paid over the summer if you're still in school and can prove that you're in school, or go for an associate position. Sometimes you never know. A lot of these companies are willing to build
Take
up,
a chance.
build up so that you do become juniors and seniors and mid-level artists and stuff like that. So I would highly suggest just applying, even if you know nothing about it, because that's really what the associate position is for. It's for finding and giving a foundation to people who aren't really in games, so that they can kind of build their way to becoming junior, mid-level, or senior level artists, developers, and programmers and other things. So I would highly suggest doing that.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
it's too bad they don't pay HAMP money for associate positions.
Oh my God, Hamp.
They pay Subway money, baby. Yeah. So
I think I even approached Hamp with the position I'm working on. He's like, they don't pay Hamp money.
That is just a running joke before everybody starts with the elitist things in the chat.
Hamp makes like SC-17 kind of money. That's the kind of level of money he makes,
Oh man,
he's out of the E ranks already.
Oh man, that's too funny. That is too funny. Actually, Google Poll brings up. Did you hear about the Uncharted reboot? That was something else that another rumor that's floating out there too. And also, I saw the "Who asked for this" commentary, which makes me laugh because it's like there's a lot. Anyhow, but there's that out there. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know if I would. Do we even know what Uncharted is? Like, is it like a remake of the? Is it a reboot of the entire series? Like they're just going through the whole series again? Is like,
I thought I don't know. I'd possibly a fifth installment. I'm not. I don't know. I don't think Uncharted is that old to have a reboot. I mean, 2007.
Wait a minute. Sony
it is kind of old.
Sony
it's like 15 years now.
Sony just rebooted a game from less than 6 years ago.
You know what? What do I know? Yeah, you're right. Sony's $1 billion business.
This is Sony we talking about here.
And it sold well.
I don't make it. Nah, it sold too well.
So that's what I'm saying. Like when people are like with that game, they're like, "Oh, who asked for this?" And I'm like,
they're gonna be like, then you're gonna get those people that's gonna say, "Well, didn't they just give us a Nathan Drake collection?" And be like, "Okay, yeah." And now they're about to give you a add-on to that collection with a better version of the first game.
That's right. Because very frequently those games come out to get a pulse to see whether or not they can sell that next project. And if there's still enough interest in Uncharted 4, then. There you go.
They need it. I mean, the amount of money that these games cost nowadays, they got to recoup costs somehow.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know is
reboots, remakes, remasters.
It's not being done by Naughty Dog.
No, it's
but
not.
Apparently, a unspecified studio is doing it.
That's okay. I'm cool with it. I will take a chance on the IP. I think that I don't think Sony would supervise something that would tarnish the reputation of one of their golden gooses. personal opinion.
What if they do this
Is
new Uncharted and Nathan Drake looks like
Golden, it's
Spider-Man.
a Golden Abyss remake.
instead of like the way Nathan Drake has looked, historically. I think
Would you say it looks like who?
Does it look like Nathan Fillion?
Instead of
changed
looking
the face?
like a younger version of Nathan Fillion, instead he looks like Tom Holland. That I would.
Oh no! Don't do
dying.
that! Don't do that.
Oh, we're gonna do
why
the
not? Why
2000, the 2000 Nathan Drake.
I
It'll
want.
be an entire generation of
I want OG Drake.
potential customers that don't know the young Nathan Fillion looking version of Drake.
I
Instead,
mean, you're not wrong there,
get the
they
Slow.
know Tom
You
Holland.
might get the Mark Wahlberg version of Sully.
Oh yeah, so excited.
Yeah, man, I don't want
My
that.
favorite version. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
my thing is, I mean, one of the most
Version without a beard.
Hey, can I ask you a quick question? Like,
Me a mustache.
what I want to know is who
Yeah,
asked
mustache.
for someone to open a fast food chain that only serves chicken sandwiches? That's what I want to know. Go ahead, Hamp.
A lot of people probably only ask for that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Why are you
Well,
hating?
I don't know who asked for it, but whoever asked for it certainly didn't ask for it not to be open on Sundays. That's for damn sure.
Oh, man.
That is true. Yes.
Hey, man, we can't be talking bad about God's chicken.
God's chicken.
Actually, Forte, God's chicken is called churches.
That is true. It is called churches. Yes.
But they go against the trend and they open on Sundays though.
Churches
Church is open on Sunday, baby.
And churches
don't want none of Chick-fil-A.
they don't want nothing, man. You
They
know how
don't
they,
want
go,
none of that.
they straight put needles in those chickens at churches, man.
They put needles in.
homegrown
They
right
put,
there.
they put needles in the KFC chickens.
Oh, they do. Make them a little bit fatter.
Isn't that why they're called KFC now or something? I remember there was like a rumor like they're
That was
called.
a rumor. I don't know if that's actually true. That
Yeah, I
they can't
know.
call it chicken no more, so they stopped calling it.
No way.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Hey, these regulatory agencies, man. You got Lena Khan over there doing the FTC thing, so the FDA had to get involved, start throwing their weight around, make themselves felt.
Oh my
Listen,
God.
man, God's chicken on a morning get you that chicken cheese and chicken egg and cheese sandwich. Oh my God.
Well, let's get the functionality of the place churches occupies in the culture, right? So churches is a southern, right, chicken chain.
Greasy chicken.
That thing was made so that people would have a place to go when they came out of the club.
Bro, I don't know why y'all are slandering Church's Chicken right now.
I'm not slandering Church's Chicken. I'm talking about what it's really there for.
I eat it all the time, so
It's really there. It's really there because it's the last great bastion of Sundays.
Listen, if I want to get a lot of chicken for a little money, I'm going to Church's. If I want to get premium A, maybe not in everybody's eyes, and you want to spend $5 for a chicken sandwich, you're going to. I mean, some people will go to Popeyes.
Popeyes is pretty good though.
Man, Popeyes is pretty good, but that line is ridiculous. That line does not deserve to be as long as it is.
It is always a line when you are there. It's
And
never
that
like whenever
line-
I drive by, nada. Whenever
the thing
I'm in
is-
there,
But the thing is, Chick-fil-A's line be longer, but it moves faster.
that's because Chick-fil-A has hospitality robots. Popeyes is like, go ahead.
No, you're right about that. They do got like 5 and 6 people out there with the tablet. Like,
Yeah.
what's your name?
Nicest people in fast food too, by the way.
They are, dude. They be out there.
They're so
like,
nice. How was your day,
even
sir?
Even when they're cold, like, dude, we're like,
Bro,
like
they're
literally
out there
like
freezing.
20 degrees. It was like 20 degrees the other day, and I went to get a chicken sandwich, and she was all bundled up, had the mask on and everything. It was like, welcome to Chick-fil-A. What's your name so I can get your order? I was like, bless your heart for being out here.
Hey, you will not see that at a Popeyes. Popeyes be like, you know how cold it is outside? Make your own sandwich. Like, dang, bro, give me a number 4.
Oh,
please.
we ain't got no chicken. We ain't got no sauce. We out of chicken. We ain't got. That's the big one. We ain't
Nah,
got
because one time this
we ain't
lady
got no sandwiches. We ain't got no sandwiches. What you mean you ain't got no sandwiches? We ain't got no more chicken sandwiches. What you ain't got the bread or you ain't got the chicken? Which one?
Both of them. Nah, last week I was at Popeyes and I was like, yo, let me get some sauce. Let me get some barbecue sauce. And she said, oh, okay, cool. And she didn't give me no sauce with the order, right? And then I was like, yo, I need my sauce. She was like, that's only 35 cents a piece. I was like, huh? And she was like,
cash grab.
Your cash your card. And I was
Cash
like,
grab.
oh, okay, cool. I guess I'll just pull out my card real quick and swipe it for 35 cents.
Anti-consumer.
Oh man. Hey,
Nah, that's a hustle, bro.
real quick, speaking of cash grab, we talked about Redfield and Starfield. Microsoft has announced that they are joining the $70 club. So Microsoft's going to be joining other major publishers, and their first-party AAA titles are going to be increased from $60 to $70. This starts next year, 2023. So that's going to impact the new Forza.
I love their statement, by the way.
Yeah. This is yeah, right. Let me read this. But you know what? I just want to say something real quick. I told people like Microsoft's going to do this. And I had people literally tell me, no, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
Wrong. They still a little wrong for part of this, though.
I
don't mind them.
They're not a soup kitchen.
No, I don't mind them raising price because we all knew this was going to happen. But for you,
hold on, Forte.
Feels like go ahead, man.
Let me just finish real quick, and I'll give you. But I was like telling people, and I had a conversation with someone. They're like, "Oh no, they're not going to do it." You know, they have this goodwill with the consumers. And I'm like, look. The market has been set. They're not going to walk away from money like this. They're not going to walk away from $70 where they can get it. They're just not going to do that. And it also increased the potential value proposition for someone to get into Game Pass now, where you could for the $70. But they're real quick. And I think this is what you're referring to. What Microsoft said, Forte. Let me read this real quick. From Microsoft. The price reflects the content scale and technical complexity of these titles. As with all games developed by our teams at Xbox, they will also be available with Game Pass the same day they launch. Is that what you're referring to, Forte?
Yeah, that was great. Oh. But I just really, really love the part where they talking about the games that we produce. Like, no, replace the games that we produce with the fact that someone jumped off the ledge first and they test drove this and you was like, oh, it worked. Okay, I'm about to do it too. That's because you trust me. Microsoft hasn't released anything of note for you to want to charge somebody $70 for a game. Let's be for real.
Yeah,
they make it seem like they released a bunch of bangers and say, "Yo, all these games we've been releasing, y'all should be happy."
You can't handle the slander, bro. They won Metacritic Publisher of the Year.
Forte. I'm gonna
reel it back.
But they didn't say those games are going like starting today. It's $70, but they did say with starting next year. So we're looking at Forza Motorsport, we're looking at Redfall and Starfield.
All those games that should have been $60 this year that they should have said.
Exactly what I was about to say.
Problem
so
right there.
Those games, if they didn't get delayed, would have been $60 this year. So what were the exact things they said? They said something about scope and scale and something else. Well, so did the scope and scale
change
for Redfall and Starfield change in a year? I'm gonna say probably not.
So my personal feeling is it's not to throw too much salt on.
I'm sorry. Let me just. I just want to before you say something. I just want to say this is
to throw seasoned salt on this.
This is a cash grab, Hamp. But go ahead, man.
No, I just feel like the whole gaming community is nuking this out. Right. There's a lot of reasons that are being made up that are way overly complicated. Like this is the most Occam's razor thing that I've seen in the gaming industry in a very long time. Games were $40 in 1977. They were $50 in 1989. They went to $60 in 2005. When they went to $60 in 2005, it was never a question to me whether or not they were going to go to $70. It was only a matter of when. Thanos has snapped his fingers. This was an inevitability. It was going to happen this generation. It was just a matter of when people were going to pull their triggers, and it didn't all go off simultaneously at the same starting line. Right? This is nothing new. There was never a question about it. I mean, quite frankly, I don't even think Microsoft even really needed to say anything about it. you know, complexity, new software, technology, blah, 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 whatever, right? It's simply a generational increase in cost that we have historically seen in the gaming industry for the last literally 50 years.
I'm just not for the BS no more, man. Like
When
they come out there and look, I agree 100% with you. They didn't have to say anything, but as soon as they came out there with that BS statement saying, "Oh, the scope and all this," I was like, "What? What did you release over the last 3 years that's worth that?" If you were just to come out and say, "Guess what, guys? Games in 2023 are going to be $70 now. Here's the blog release and everything, blah blah blah." And these are the games that is going to be affected. I'd have been like, hey, cool, because we already knew this was going to happen. I just hate when companies try to validate why they're doing something. And especially when you're validating under the false pretense of you actually feeling like, oh, this was a hard decision for us to make. No, EA made this decision for you 2 or 3 years ago, and you're finally jumping off the bridge with them now. That's the only difference. Is you didn't have to make the decision. The decision was already made. It was just when were you going to pull the trigger? And then the other biggest part, like what Slomo said, is can we Thanos snap Starfield and Redfall back to 2021 or 2022? Can we get the price of those games at the price that they should have been if they were to release this year? I think that would be like really goodwill. That would have been really something that you could put in the press release and say, due to, the delay of these games, our price point of games are going to be $70, but it will unaffect these games since it was, they got delayed out of the year. I'm not saying they had to do that, but I'm just saying if you want to make a press release and make people feel good about the scenario that they're walking into because we already knew it was going to happen, I think that would have been a good way to segue into it. But them coming out saying what they said, I was like, man, I'm not for that garbage anymore, man. It's like they said it, and I'm like, okay, it is what it is, and I just moved on with my day when I saw it.
Yeah, and I mean, I know my salt is often served cold, straight out of the freezer, and I just I don't.
Oh my God!
They do make rock salt.
Making people feel good, right? My whole thing is like, look, the price just gets set, right? Video card prices just get set, CPU prices just get set. The market moves, a new standard and threshold is established. Everybody takes a look at it and they just set it.
That's true.
I don't know that it. I don't know that in this instance on this topic. I think Microsoft does it about some other things, but I don't know in the matter of this topic. This was a decision that was tied up a lot in like customer loyalty, getting repeat customers, all that kind of thing. I think it was just time to move the needle.
Oh man, Game Pass is going to do that for him, and they ain't have to come out and say all this.
We didn't have to, but that's money. Like I said,
the price of Game Pass is going to go up too.
Yeah, so. We don't care about the price. Listen,
bro, you get a discount with Game Pass, bro. 10% discount, 20% discount. You still buy $60. You still buy $60 games with Game Pass, bro. Just subscribe to Game Pass too.
Yeah, that's a great point, Dilly. That's why I said earlier, like this actually further increases the value proposition for Game Pass now.
Dilly, who do you work for?
Huh? I can't answer that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, Forte. Are you saying there's some bias here, Forte? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just messing with my homie, man. Because the way he said it, wait a minute. I sound like I felt like I was listening to somebody on the chair.
You're like, wait a minute, this is the what?
Like, wait a minute, you coached?
Great PR statement. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great. Yeah. That sounded rehearsed there, Deli.
It's definitely in the checkbook. It's in the check marks. It's in the checklist.
This is a good point to bring up, right? Too, what everyone will do is they will say, well, they're just increasing their revenue, right? But then again, I go back to if the cost of goods sold is increasing, then me increasing revenue doesn't really do anything, right? If the cost of producing a game and getting a game out of pipeline has been increasing over the last 17 years, and they've held the line on the $60 price point, right? Then moving the needle to be concordant with cost isn't me padding the walls of the jail cell, right? It's trying to keep up. It's trying to keep sales costs and revenue up with the rate at which production costs are increasing. And again, that price tag is likely to stay for a very long time. So it's not just to get right with the way things are now, but it's also to be forward looking, right, in how production costs are going to increase over the next decade or two, before there's an opportunity to do another price increase.
Well, guess what? People shouldn't be upset about this. They should be upset about Nintendo out there charging them $50 and $60 for a game that should only probably be $40.
Not only that, but as I've said before on the show, Nintendo fleeces us every generation, for games, for digital games purchased on whatever the new name of the storefront is for that generation. And when the next piece of hardware comes on, the next virtual digital storefront comes along also, and all those virtual digital games that you bought, again, on the last electronic storefront, like it literally gets rebranded every generation. They're just gone. There's no way to get back to them. Like you don't, the difference is a funny thing is, so this week I spent a small amount of time playing Saints Row 2 on Xbox, and I went to go get it, and it was like, oh yeah, you already own this. I'm like, when did I ever buy Saints Row 2? Like I have no recollection. I'm not a GTA fan. I've never been interested in Saints Row.
Sure, wasn't Xbox. What's the name? What was it? The
games with gold
thing or something?
No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I mean, but the point is I never remember constantly deliberately going to buy that. But my point is that here we are, 2 console generations down the road from whenever I would have done that, and I can still access that on a piece of Xbox hardware. That is not the case with Nintendo.
Not at all.
Right? But we don't throw shade at them about that, but we get all up in arms about, a $10 increase in games.
Yeah, it's kind of the interesting dynamic of the gaming community.
Nintendo's just got a lot of star power, and I don't know what it is, but they're immune to a lot of criticism, it seems, and that doesn't mean that they don't get criticism. They get quite a bit of it, but it's just like they're immune to the general, the mainstream stuff, because it's like they'll release a remake or port, actually, not even a remake, a port, an upscaled port, or even the same exact port that they had, on the GameCube or whatever, and charge the same amount of money for it. And people are saying like, well, this is good for game preservation. Yeah, but there's only one option because they're removing it from everything else. So if I don't own a Switch, I can't. There's no preservation there. You know what I mean? I can't just go out and buy the GameCube and and I'm not buying $100 version of Link's Awakening. That does everything against game preservation.
Right, and when Nintendo does that, it doesn't get nearly the amount of shade that like Sony got for the Last of Us remake, and that's just because the discussion of the console war, largely doesn't Nintendo's not in that as much on the social scene. It's mostly Xbox against PlayStation, and I said whatever I said that I made light of people being concerned about that wasn't my intention to make light of people who are really impacted by the $10 increase in games. It was just to talk about the inconsistency somewhat in the online dialogue about games and the way we castigate one corporation for doing one thing and then another corporation does the exact same thing and gets a global pass for it, in the gaming community.
I do want to ask, because somebody in the chat said that the Game Pass discount only affects games that come out a month after release. I don't believe so, Hero Hunter, because I bought Forza Horizon, the new one, for $15, 15% off. And I was subscribed to Game Pass for that. And that game had, at the time of releasing, I had bought it during the early access thing, so it hadn't been out for a month yet. So no, I think the discount applies if you're a Game Pass holder. Regardless, you get like your 10 or 15% discount off of any and all games. So if it's whatever it may be, if it's Starfield comes out, you get your 10-15% discount. So instead of a $70 Starfield, you ended up getting a $62 or $63 Starfield. Games are still $60, obviously with the caveat that you're subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate, because I think Game Pass Ultimate is the one with the discount.
Gentlemen, I need to go. I gotta handle something with work that popped up.
Okay.
Of course, people are on vacation, so
don't.
I end up being on standby when I'm never on standby.
Ooh, you're on call.
Enjoy the rest of the show, gentlemen. Chat. Hope you guys have a good time. Forte, shout out the show tomorrow on your outro if you remember, please.
Oh, I got you.
You guys have a good one, man.
All right, Slow-Mo. See you, man.
All
right, big shout out to Mr. Slow-Mo Backslap King KD himself.
KD.
Oh yeah. We're worried. I just lost my train of thought now. Yeah, I think you're right, Deli, though, that you actually do get the discount. It's not. I don't think you have to wait a month.
Yeah.
To get what the whatever the I forget what the
Yeah,
discount is.
whatever the percentage discount is, but you do get a percentage discount
Yeah.
when you subscribe to Game Pass or Ultimate or whatever
Yeah.
it may be.
Yeah.
And Ultimate I think is only 12 or 14.99, $15 or something like that. So the
Yeah.
standard price.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes with EA too. I know I sound like a Geico commercial right now, but I'm saying like it's it all is it's a fair deal. However you want to spin it, it is a fair deal.
Yeah, I just the whole $70 thing is kind of funny because, like, as much as people complain about the $70, no one talks about. And I think you mentioned this in a tweet. I think it was today, Dilly. They're like, hey, you don't have to buy the game at $70. Like,
Yeah, nobody's making look.
Yeah.
The way I see it is, if you go to the store, okay, so if you check the price, right, and then you drive to the store because I drive to the store and buy my games, right. So I drive to the store, I walk into the store, I pick it up, I see the price tag, I walk to the front counter, I check it out. They ring it up. They tell me the price, and then I swipe my card. I have no room to complain about the pricing of it at all. At any moment in time, I could have been like, "No, that's too expensive for me," or "That's not in my means right now," or "No, I don't really justify doing that because of some subjective taste." You know what I mean? But it's like, nobody's forcing you to buy a $70 video game. Just wait. Sales go on 24/7. I mean, discounts go on 24/7. Plus, you can buy the game on PC. Everybody flexes that, oh, I'll just buy the game on PC for cheaper day one. Okay, then do that. Like, like support, like our games industry runs on support, right? So you buy the game, it runs on sales support, right? So if you have critical acclaim and then you have, a financial acclaim to it, then your chances are you're going to get a greenlit sequel. If nobody comes out and buys the game, then yeah, talk with your wallets. But there's going to be enough people that buy the game. Day one, whatever it may be. For me, I'm thankful to be in a financial situation where I can just go out and buy games. I mean, if you talked to me 5 years ago or even 10 years ago and say like, oh, a $60 video game or $70 video game, I'd be like, oh yeah, I only buy like 2 or 3 AAA games a year. But now I'm like, I'll just go out and buy them willy-nilly day one, whenever, and support them. So it is what it is. But not everybody's in that position. So I understand the value proposition of a $7. But I think it's just a very loaded subjective take. So, or everybody has a loaded subjective take. So, what somebody else does with their money doesn't bother me at all. But I mean, nobody's forcing you to buy a $70 video game. Whether it be FOMO or just whatever it is, like you don't have to buy games day one, and that's that. Again, there's discounts and stuff like that. Like I just said as well too. Game's not $70 if you have Game Pass, with the caveat that you are paying for Game Pass as well monthly. But with the family plan coming out, in the near future, it could just be beneficial. You could just get the discount and then just net that and call it a night. I mean, there have never been a better way to buy games. There's never been a wider range of video games, and there's never been a better generation of video games when it comes to the spectrum of buying games. Games come out for $5 and games come out for $100 nowadays, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's a great point, Dylan. It's really interesting because, like with other consumer products, we have tiers. We have tiers, and it's the same thing. Not like tears, people crying, but for those who
save your tears for another day.
There you go, Forte. No, but we have different tiers in other consumer products, like with shoes, with subscription services, cable TV, cars, vehicles, phones, I mean, and so it's weird for me to see people treat gaming differently. Like we have, like you said, Deli, $5 games, $10 games, $20 games, free to play games, and the AAA games are the top of the tier. They're $70, and if that doesn't work within your budget, you got a decision to make. And I mean, we practice that thought. I say practice. We do this with every other consumer product where we look at price and we say, oh, that's not for me, and we just move along. I just don't understand, and I never understood the hyper focus on $70 and the reaction and then people, like you said, Deli, people not realizing, wait a minute, I don't have to pay $70. I can wait to, for the game to go on sale. And they do very much go, unless it's Nintendo, they very much do go on sale.
Yeah, they do go
yeah.
on sale quite often. Yeah, like I went and bought 3 video games for $139 not too long ago, about like 2 weeks ago. I bought White Day, which was $40. I bought The Devil in Me, which was $40, and then I bought No More Heroes 3, the collector's edition or whatever it may be, like they ended up giving me like the collector's edition, and that was $60. So it ended up being like 130, 140, and that's okay. No More Heroes came out a month and some change ago. White Day came out a month and some change ago, and Devil in Me was the newest release that I had, and it was it was like 2 weeks after release. So yeah, no, I'm not buying games day one. I'm not buying games whatever. There's dozens of options for you. You know what I mean? Like I said, games are coming out in a wide range and wide spectrum of prices nowadays, and I couldn't be happier. You know what I mean? Again, plus Game Pass. It's a good time to be a consumer, regardless of how you want to spin it.
I agree with you, Jelly. Like, I've been gaming for a long time. We didn't have the choices that gamers have today when I was growing up playing video games. We just didn't. It was like $50 for a game, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, and if you didn't have the money for it, you didn't buy the game. I remember going to the store, saving up money, and wanting to buy a co-op game, Army of Two, the original one that came out in like 2009. And I wanted to buy the game. The game was it was like $50. It was like $40 or something. And it was like $50. And I didn't have enough money to buy it, so I ended up having to settle. Like, I didn't want to wait, so I ended up settling and buying a lesser co-op game to play with my younger brother. And we ended up buying like the worst game on planet Earth, and it sucked and we hated it. But like that was the only option we had. There was no secondhand market. There was no, like, I couldn't find Army of Two at a flea market. You know what I mean? Like, it was either in the store or not at all. And that was it. There was no subscription service. Like, I could possibly borrow it from a friend, but that's about it.
Yeah.
There was nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
So
Go ahead. So,
one thing I just want to interject just before we get too far into the show. I apologize, it is off topic from this one. But whoever it was in the chat who said there's something wonky about game discounts on Game Pass is actually correct. Game Pass members save up to 20% on Xbox games purchased from the existing catalog as well as 10%. Those discounts occur between 31 and 90 days from a game's launch. So after the first month, you get 10% off the Microsoft Store price, and then after 90 days, you get up to a 20% discount. So as we talked about that, I pulled up my Game Pass app on PC, and I went and looked at all the new games that had released, and I did realize there were some games that are not discounted. Now, there might be some weird thing in there where first-party games have discounts as soon as they launch a release, but the policy is actually along the lines of what that person mentioned.
Okay, awesome. Oh, I will retract my statement then. It may just been a specific case just for Forza Horizon.
That's what I want to say that I think there's a first party, because I remember also buying Forza Horizon and Halo Infinite and things at launch, first party titles, and it seems like that discount is there right away. So that may be for specific first party games or something.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if it's first party.
It doesn't say it in the policy, which just means that Microsoft reserves the right to do it or not do it, probably. But the standard policy is that those discounts kick in 31 days after launch, so the first month after launch.
Yeah, just for a standard title on the store. So I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to look this up. I don't see anything. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at this later on. But no, thanks, yeah, for taking a look at that. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's good. Some of the live chat says Mercedes is charging a subscription service for. I don't know if this is true, but $1,200 a year for acceleration increases.
The heated seats one is real.
I did see the BMW one. Is the heated seats one is real? Yeah, $18 a month. Yeah, but again, I mean, I think if you and I don't know if that's for all BMW vehicles models, but if you are you know, if you're driving a 7 Series, I think $18 is probably a drop in the bucket for some people if they're driving that kind of car.
Yeah. If you're driving it, which is and again, I exercise my right as a consumer to not buy it, to not subscribe, which is kind of like, it's kind of crappy. You're gonna give us heated seats, and I guess that's another capitalist consumerism problem. But again, I exercise my right because there's enough competition on the market.
Yeah, go somewhere else. Yeah.
In order to go somewhere else, and the only time that there isn't enough competition on the market is first party exclusives, you know, within the right of you know, the fine print or whatever it may be, whether it be, you know, timed exclusive or Game Pass or PC or whatever. But yeah, like with the exception of exclusives, that's pretty much about it. Like The Devil in Me is on all platforms. White Day, I'm pretty positive is on all platforms, so I could be wrong. It's on Switch as well too. So yeah, in that moments right there, and No More Heroes, in that moments, I had the ability to not buy it for whatever platform I wanted to buy it for. So
well. Oh, you know, real quick, one thing I wanted to just quickly cover that we didn't get to an opportunity to talk about just yet is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is actually coming out. Is
16th,
it
right?
the 13th?
13th, 16th, something like that. Next week.
Yeah, and reviews are out. It's currently at Metacritic 77. But most of the reviews that I've seen have been pretty positive. I'm looking forward to this game because, well, it's you know, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. So, yeah. So, anyone else picking up this game next week?
I might pick it up. I've never played the original. I didn't own a PSP, so.
Yeah, I think I don't remember. I may have played a little bit of it. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I did. Anyhow, anyone else on the panel picking it up?
Thinking about it, I don't know yet though. Still got to get through God of War.
Yeah, that's a long game.
What, God of War?
Yeah.
No, Joe, you say God of War's a long game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a long game. You know, it's twice the length of the of 2018. So yeah, and I thought 2018 was a fair sized game. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's God of War, and I'm still playing it, by the way. Forte, I beat the main campaign, but I'm still playing some of the side stuff now. So
yeah, no spoilers.
Oh, I won't give you any spoilers, man. I promise. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up because that's one of the releases that's coming up soon, and that's coming out on all platforms, right? Xbox, PlayStation, right?
It should be all platforms. I think PC is. I could be wrong, but I think PC.
I think PC's. Yeah, no, I think PC's coming to PC too. Let's see what else. I feel like there was something else I forgot to bring up. Crap. It'll come to me later on. All right, let's talk about this Microsoft deal with Nintendo.
Yeah, I need to know about this. I thought people were trolling when I was seeing everybody's video, and I didn't look at any. So this is actually a thing. Yes,
it is a thing. Phil Spencer tweeted at 11:12 p.m. yesterday. Microsoft has entered to a 10-year commitment to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo following the merger of Microsoft and Activision Blizzard King. Microsoft is committed to helping bring more games to more people, however they choose to play.
Oh, man. They are real confident in this deal going through.
I mean, they're out there making deals, man.
They made a deal. So they're basically saying, so think about how that can play with the regulators and stuff. Microsoft Call of Duty has not even been a thing on the Nintendo platform since the Wii U and the Wii, which is almost going on 10 years now. And you see Nintendo's doing very well without those titles. So now they're going to give the most popular platform one of the most popular games, and they're basically telling the regulators at the FTC, we don't really care about who sells what. We just want the games to be everywhere, and we're going to give it to the platform that doesn't even have have anything in this fight. They don't even have a bone in this fight, but we're going to give it to them anyways. And we signed a 10-year deal with them. So what are you waiting for, Sony? Oh my God. So it's a cheat, man. It's like they're literally just tempting fate right now.
Yeah, also Brad Smith, who's the attorney for Microsoft, said our acquisition will bring Call of Duty to more gamers and more platforms than ever before. That's good for competition and good for consumers. Thank you, Nintendo. Any day Sony wants to sit down and talk, we'll be happy to hammer out a 10-year deal for PlayStation as well. Now, also, Microsoft, according to Gabe Newell, head of Valve, also wanted to hammer out a similar 10-year deal, and Gabe was like, "No, we don't need a 10-year deal. We're good."
They said we already got the game on PC, so we don't really.
Yeah, he's like, we have.
It's not on Steam. It's not on Steam.
Oh, it's
a lot of the old
it is on Steam.
The old ones are, but the newer ones are only on BattleNet.
No, the new Call of Duty's on Steam.
Is the new? So it's already on Steam. They don't care. It's like we already got the game.
Yeah, Call of Duty stays at like $40, even if it's like 20 years old on Steam. Why, they wouldn't?
Yeah, we don't care.
They wouldn't jeopardize that.
Yeah, Microsoft games made a global return, global in terms of new games that are coming out to Steam earlier this year.
Yeah, that's what's up. Dang, I didn't think that was. I thought some people were trolling. I was like, are these just troll videos? And I guess it was real.
Yeah, no, it was real. I'm trying to pull up the quotes here. Here we go. Gabe Newell said,
"What did Bowser say?"
I didn't see any quotes from Bowser, and there may have been. I didn't see any, but Gabe Newell's basically like, we're happy that Microsoft wants to continue using Steam to reach customers with Call of Duty. When their Activision acquisition closes, Microsoft has been on Steam for a long time, and we take it as a signal that they are happy with gamers' reception to that and the work we are doing. Our job is to keep building valuable features for not only Microsoft, but all Steam customers and partners. So that was his commentary on that. I think Phil Spencer had another comment. What was that comment, Ham? What did something to do with like Sony's, what do you say? Like they're talking to everyone but us or something.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember where that came from, and I can't remember if that was specifically attributed to Phil, but it was a comment that basically reflected Microsoft's commitment to making Call of Duty to as many gamers as possible, and his mention of Sony was that it's clear that Sony is spending more time talking to regulators than they are talking to us.
That's what it was. Yep.
To make this deal happen, and my note on that was, that's an opinion for Spencer to have. That's a perspective for him to have, right? But the fact of the matter is that there's no obligation on Sony's part to be cooperative with Microsoft. There's no obligation on Sony's part to collaborate with Microsoft. If Sony feels that the merger at the end of the day is not in the best interests of their corporation and their shareholders from a competitive perspective, there's nothing, again, there's no framework of altruism that says I have to be obligated to playing nice with everyone. In the industry that I work in, we frequently compete against other companies for contracts, and a lot of times, I've been at various companies and we would lose a contract and people want to go talk to, the company that won and to see if we can subcontract to them, and many of the times were based on kind of the spirit of that company and kind of how they behave. In the larger industry community, I've been one to advocate, again, forgive the language, say fuck those guys. Look, we have indications that they didn't even follow all of the legal rules that we're required to follow, right, in pursuit of this competition. Why would we go, right? Look, and the customer said that they wanted something from us that's like our specific product. but they decided to, like, why would we do that? And sometimes there's a business reason to do that, right? And sometimes it depends on the size of the corporation you're at. I'm at a company whose size will make decisions like that, where based on kind of, character and value alignment, we will literally say fuck those guys, right, and not go sub to them if they won the contract. Other larger companies, sometimes they will, because again they're publicly traded. The company I'm at right now is not publicly traded, so we don't have those same concerns. So, but there's no obligation for Sony to do that. The people who think that there is an obligation there, again, fall into this bucket of where we kind of overlay these, subjective and individually driven and created, mythical, frameworks about, what the character of a company is supposed to be, or what the value system of a company is supposed to be, and they're non-person entities, right? They're organizations that are made up of, they're commercial entities, right? They don't play by the rules of a sports team or something like that. So, to me, Sony's made the decision that there is no number, right? We talked a few weeks ago about how a lot of these deals go down, and there's, everybody's got their price, and there's always a number. I mean, what Sony seems to be signaling to me is, look, there is no number of years of commitment that will satisfy us and make us feel like this deal is good for us. And so, if people are going to approve the deal, then they're going to approve the deal, without our support and without our capitulation to it. Silence is indicating that you're fine with the thing that other people are doing, and they're clearly saying that they're not under any circumstances.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ham. And so, the one thing that's kind of been going around too is the idea that Sony stands to lose if they don't take a 10-year deal or agree to this 10-year deal. And what I've kind of been thinking is, well, what are they losing exactly? Because we know that Microsoft has said, their intents to keep that their intents to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. I think he even said that he promises not to pull the rug from underneath PlayStation. I think what he said, there's no like, I forget what he said, something about like they're not gonna have Game Pass or something.
Yeah, there's nothing behind my back.
Yeah, nothing behind my back. Yeah, and he actually said it's not linked to them having to carry Game Pass. And so, yeah, go ahead, man.
And I mean, there are tons of people out there. I'm sure people are saying in the chat, "Well, I don't trust Phil, and Phil lies, blah blah blah." Look, you don't have to trust Phil, and you don't have to, like, again, it's ascribing these human characteristics to a corporation. It does not make financial sense in any which way whatsoever for Microsoft to pull Call of Duty off of PlayStation, at least at this point. With Bethesda properties, there is a break-even point where you pull some titles off of PlayStation and keep them exclusive. There's a math projection that shows that there's a tip over point that you could potentially gain more in revenue from a combination of Game Pass subscribers and people buying the property to keep that game on Game Pass. But at the Call of Duty scale, which is exponentially larger, right, than those handful of Bethesda titles that they're keeping exclusive, that math formula does not prove out, right? And when Microsoft pulls Call of Duty off of PlayStation in that scenario, Microsoft loses way more. Sony loses the 30% cut that they get on the game right out of the store. There's a financial tail where they lose out on the microtransactions, but at the end of the day, it hurts Microsoft way more than it hurts Sony. And at this point, where purchasing Activision brings them up to near parity with Sony, there's no point in getting right alongside them from that revenue perspective, and then immediately cutting off their nose to spite their face, right, and removing a bunch of several $1 billion of revenue right away by pulling the game off of PlayStation. And so you just have to believe in math, right, and finance, and that shareholders, again, want, one of the phrases that you guys have mentioned you're tired of hearing from me, which is right, return maximum value for my dollar that I'm spending investing in your company, or I'll go take those dollars and invest them somewhere else. So, again, as I've talked about with the Sony thing, and I know people have been out there saying, this could backfire. There is no backfire in my mind, right? The minimum splash damage that they'll get from this is after the 5-year period of current commitment to deliver COD. There are some onesie-twosie things that I don't think move the financial needle that much, that Microsoft may want to tweak in that deal, like marketing, like the fact that PlayStation gets, 1 or 2, LTEs or LTMs per year, that PlayStation gets a handful of skins and maps. Those things are in the financial noise, and don't move the needle and aren't keeping a CFO awake at night. I think further down the road, depending on what Sony does with their pipeline, you get to a point where, okay, maybe there is an argument that it moves the needle, but that's 10, 20 years out.
Yeah, and yeah, and that's the thing. Like like you said, it doesn't make financial sense for them to pull it from PlayStation. So, again, I don't see what the potential loss for them, Sony not taking this deal is. And we also don't know what this deal entails either. Like, the devil's in the details. None of us know like what Microsoft's offering Sony, what Sony wants. We don't know any of those things. We just don't. Is it, I think you bring up an interesting, point with, what is it?
But if Sony, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you were Sony and they came to you, well, not even saying if you were Sony, if they came to you saying everything stays the same way that it is right now for 10 years, of course, you're not going to get the marketing rights because you're not, you don't own the thing, but the split is still going to be the same way it is. Everything outside of the marketing rights is still going to be the same thing that they are, and you'll continue to have that for 10 years. Would you sign that agreement?
Would I sign that agreement?
It's not an agreement. It's a commitment. It's like,
well,
saying,
would you sign that commitment?
Gentleman's honor. I handshake you, Forte. Everything stays the same. Everything's gonna be all Gucci. So shake my hand, and we got a deal. And then,
would you do that, BRAP, as that person?
It's really hard for me to answer that, Forte,
because part of me feels like it's got to be more.
I don't know, because I don't know what Sony wants. Now, I think what they want
to keep everything the way that it is now. They don't want the deal to go through. So,
well, I mean, yeah, if Microsoft's saying we're going to give you 10 years for marketing, you still get the marketing and everything that you have now for 10 years plus.
No, you ain't getting.
Well, I'm throwing the hypothetical, like. Well,
I know what you mean. Yeah, if that stays the same, then I would sign the.
Then I would say, 10 years. I mean, but if it's like what Hamp's bringing up, which, I haven't heard many people bring this up, but the what is it? The crossplay thing where, you got to pay Sony money. You got to make up that. What was the, Hamp, you explained this, the math behind that again?
I refer to this. I don't know if I have the terminology that's used for this. I used to have the term, but I refer to it as the Sony crossplay. It's the Sony crossplay revenue share agreement, right? Which I refer to as really the revenue parity clause, which is basically that if you have crossplay, which you have to do with Sony. I may not have this articulation perfectly correct, but we'll just use it for the sake of tonight, right? That if whatever percentage of PlayStation players there are for that game, you owe Sony an amount of revenue that is concurrent, right? And this is microtransactions revenue. You owe Sony an amount of revenue that's concurrent with that percentage of players. And so if Sony players make up 72% of your user base, then you owe Sony 72% of the recurring revenue that you're collecting from that game, right? Mostly in terms of battle passes and microtransactions. And if you fall short of that on a month-to-month basis, you're supposed to pay Sony that balance. In order to do that, and I think my viewpoint, because I'm a data-driven person, right, is that this is the thing that would stick in my craw. In order to do that, you are required to provide Sony financial records of what your sales data is for that title on a month-to-month basis, or at least give Sony access to that so that they can audit your records periodically, spot check it when they so choose, and validate that you have been paying them the correct amount. So my personal viewpoint from this is, if I were on Microsoft's side, I would say, look, I don't give a crap about giving them Call of Duty. What my ass is really chapped about is the fact that I, the multi-trillion-dollar company, am being basically shaken down and fleeced to give this company insight into my financial data that I don't even give my shareholders, based on the way that Microsoft reports revenue in its quarterly earnings reports.
Imagine if your competitor has the ability to audit you at any moment's notice.
Exactly.
You know, you wouldn't want that either.
Right, and this is not only that, but this is a competitor who now, after this deal goes down, because we know they're doing it already, is actually actively engaged in investing dollars to spawn direct head-to-head competitors against Call of Duty. And while they're trying to do that, they're going to have intimate insight into the financial dealings, right? My operating expenses, all those things, with specific regard to Call of Duty, right? Which means they will be able to set prices, right? They will be, and I don't know, in a lot of other industries, like I said, like in my industry, there are structures which might say something like that could exist, but there would have to be a firewall, right, for people, so that the people who handled, that company information wouldn't be allowed to also participate in, right, business setup and business modeling for, their own business venture, right? So they couldn't inappropriately advantage themselves from that insider information. But there's nothing like that in the gaming industry. And so again, the financial types getting their hands on this data could then business model their own operating structures in a way that would allow them to compete better. They would know how much, costs, right, I'm bleeding, or how much money I might be losing, or even what my demographic spread is against in terms of consoles. And so, for instance, this deal that Microsoft has made with Nintendo, Sony would have insight into that and would be able to potentially maneuver to counter that. That would be, if I were going to come back and negotiate anything, and if I was going to be vindictive about the way Sony's behaving now, and again, my personal feeling is these guys who are being paid six-figure salaries 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 times over don't overly engage in the petty. But again, if they were to play that chess match, that would be the thing that I would come back to the table after the 5-year deal is over and say, no, we're not doing that. And if you want COD, you need to come off the dime about that. On Sony's side, I could definitely see the perspective of, hey, then if Microsoft does that, again, going back to the chess game, if Microsoft does that, that doesn't necessarily hurt us in a huge way in terms of Call of Duty, but every other publisher, right, is going to smell that blood in the water, and we're going to start having a ton of contention around the marketplace of pushback against this revenue parity deal.
Yeah, that's a great point, Hab. I appreciate you kind of breaking that down, because that's not a point that I've heard discussed when people talk about this deal, or talk about the commitment that Microsoft is proposing to Sony should this deal go through. But you're right. I mean, the crossplay thing that Sony does is basically like Sony getting royalties if too many PlayStation players are basically spending their money elsewhere, and that's what it boils down to. And so, I've
the
seen
question is,
yeah,
another question is that a moving number every year? Because every year, let's say 2 years from now, after the deal goes through and more people are playing on Xbox and Xbox has the predominant player base when it comes to that game, how does that number get affected then? Are we signing a deal that lives at perpetuity over the course of a 10-year deal, no matter what, even if we are the market lead, the platform leader when it comes to that game now? So that's another thing that you kind of got to think about is like, yeah, it's cool. 72%. You have the market share of the game right now. So you have the bigger player base, But what happens with that game in particular when that flips over the course of the next 2 to 3 years? Am I still held to that same metric, or does that metric change like everything else changes over the course of the deal?
I mean, as it stands right now, that metric wouldn't move. I mean, it would all be based on. I mean, so I articulated it slightly incorrectly. So the way it works is Sony has to. So the proportion of PSN revenue share divided by PS4, I guess PS5 now, gameplay share for a title is less than 85% in any given month. The partner will pay PlayStation Studios a royalty to offset the reduction in revenue. And then the partner has no obligation to pay PlayStation Studios a royalty in months where PSN revenue share divided by platform gameplay share is greater than 85%. So if the revenue you're giving them is above 85%, then you're good. If it's below 85%, then you have to compensate them for it. So if those numbers shifted, right, and more people started playing on Xbox, again, would you would still be less than 85%? So yeah. I mean, as of right now, the way the deal's written, or this requirement's written for crossplay, you wouldn't get out of it.
You wouldn't get out of it.
Yeah.
I would have a problem with that too. I mean, I'm not saying that when you sign a deal that the number should change. I'm just saying, especially if you're looking like we already know what's going to happen. It won't happen overnight, but with Game Pass being a funnel, with the marketing being on Xbox being another funnel, we already know that the player base is going to slowly but surely move in Xbox's direction. So at a certain point, it's like we're basically just giving you money just to give you money at that point. If that stays the same.
Yeah, and and again, this is a thing that I talk about this a lot with Sony. This is a thing
Microsoft does that to get this deal done. Who knows? Maybe
well,
they'll do it.
Just to go back, this is a thing that's way convoluted because that's the way Sony does things. I take back what I said. It is a ratio that should move. So what Sony is trying to make sure is they are trying to make sure that they get 85% of the revenue that is applicable to their gameplay, right? So it's the revenue divided by how much people are playing on the PlayStation platform, and ensuring that based on that ratio, they get 85% of that revenue.
Yeah.
Right.
So crazy.
So if the number does shift, right, and the PlayStation gameplay share goes down, then you do have some relief, right? Because then your revenue share, because all they're trying to make sure is that they stay up above 85% of their gameplay. So if their gameplay goes down, then the total bucket goes down.
So
they're still, but they're still at the time. Right. So the total number moves down, but they're still looking to get 85%. But okay. But the point is, if the ratio comes out to be, $5 million, right, then they just want 85% of that. If it goes down to $1 million because the revenue share is divided by a reduction in their gameplay share, then they're still only looking to get 85% of that total, not 85% of like the old number.
Got you.
Yeah, and I'm wondering too, like, and I'm just spitballing here, but I'm wondering like if part of what's, because we know this game's coming to Game Pass. I wonder if I'm almost wondering if Sony's saying, hey, it's going to Game Pass. We want it on PlayStation Plus. we want it there day and date too.
Talking about parity?
Yeah.
No. I mean, that's probably what they're asking for, but no.
I don't know. I mean, like, I mean, that would be interesting if they're asking for
unless
that.
Unless you're giving me a bigger, maybe I'll put it in PlayStation Plus if you're giving me a bigger cut of the point of sale. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe instead of 30, maybe instead of the 30% at every point of sale, either on at POS or at retail, if I'm making more than the normal, like say I'm making 40% or maybe 45% for every sale, maybe I make that move across, all that microtransactions. We split 50-50 or whatever. Maybe that becomes, well, not a bigger part of the thing. Maybe that becomes part of the thing. But I think in general, I wouldn't put nothing on nobody else's service, because remember, every time Sony had something like this pop up when it came to their service and stuff, and like why they wouldn't want it over there, they talk about, they don't want to have people logging into Xbox Live servers and stuff on their system. And if that's the case, then just let a curated version of Game Pass on your platform, and you won't even have to worry about this. You don't have to have the version of Game Pass that has all third-party games in it. You just have to have a version of Game Pass that has Microsoft games in it. Greenlight something like that. Then you still get, you still have the game for people to buy, and then you still have an avenue for people to try the games through a subscription service on your system. And you'll still get some type of monetary kickback from every Game Pass purchase done on your system. It seems easy, but it just comes down that Sony came to this late when it came to trying to make a competitor to Game Pass. And not saying that Game Pass is the end all be all, but when it comes to the games that they're having in there, this is the first game that really threatens them in a way where they said this really will hurt us financially if this was to happen. So now they're trying to find a way to either block the deal entirely or make concessions of Microsoft that are so outlandish that the only reason Microsoft would do it is if they just want to get the deal done and say, hey, in 10 years, we don't have to worry about this no more, but we still own all of these IPs and all this property, and who knows what's going to happen in 10 years anyway. So it's a lot of ways to look at it, a lot of ways to think about it. It just seems like Sony wants them to make a haste decision and they know Microsoft wants to get this deal done, but Microsoft knows they're on the clock when it comes to, the deadline on this deal having to be restructured after a certain amount of time. They also have the $3 billion kicker that goes back to Activision and Blizzard if this deal doesn't go through. So Microsoft is the one that's kind of on the clock with this. So Sony's just trying to extend that clock as much as possible.
It's funny you mentioned that, Forte. Actually, Hamp, I think Hamp, you mentioned something similar too. That the longer that Sony could stall this deal, the more potentially benefits them.
It does.
Yeah, I don't think by any they're not building the flux capacitor in 6 months, right?
Right, exactly.
but but at the end of the day, every day that, in particular, the U.S., the EU, and the U.K. don't make a final decision, then that delays closing the deal, and that's another day that X number of developers can write code right in the effort to get those 10 multiplayer PvP games right as far down the road in production pipeline as they possibly can, which shortens the competitive length right between when revenue flips over to Microsoft and when revenue could potentially start going towards Sony for deployment of its games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Both great points, Forte and Hamp. And and then there's stories out there, and I don't know if you guys saw this New York Post. I really don't. They are quoting sources that's saying that. There was a couple articles. There was a political article that came out. I think it was like around Thanksgiving time that said something to the effect that Microsoft had failed to convince the FTC. The FTC staff that was reviewing the acquisition, Microsoft failed to convince them with its arguments that this wouldn't hurt Sony or the rest of the industry, that this wouldn't be an unfair advantage for Microsoft, and that the FTC was gonna file an antitrust lawsuit to block this as soon as within a month's time that they would do this filing. And there was that report by the New York Post. I think it was it late last week? I don't remember now, but they were alleging through quote unquote sources that now that panel was split. And they actually even cited one former FTC board member who thought the deal would still go through. So I don't know. It's interesting for me at least, it's interesting to see this thing kind of play out in the public. My opinion, I do think this deal goes through, and I've said this before on the show, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of concessions involved with this deal going through. But Deli, what are your thoughts, man? Do you have any thoughts on this?
No, none that I can share.
Okay. I thought I'd try, man. I thought I'd try, but
none that I can share. Sorry, the paycheck prevents me.
No, I get it, man. I get it. But
it's a good paycheck, no.
It's a great paycheck. Yeah, that keeps the roof over my head.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. So, it's again. I think it's kind of interesting to see how this is playing out in the public space, but more to come for sure. So, gentlemen, that's all I have in terms of topics for this evening. Any closing thoughts?
It's been an exciting back and forth. I love seeing it. I love this snowball fight, I guess, would be the best way to put it. I just love it. I don't know. I love it when companies do that. It's entertaining. It's drama. It's cool. It's fun. Makes for good news.
Yeah, and this is it's funny you mentioned entertaining. Like think about the epic loss. You remember Tim Sweeney on Twitter just going nuts.
Yeah,
and that was entertaining to see Tim Sweeney.
Seem like that happened that long ago either.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
I just like the pettiness. Microsoft said, "Okay, you don't want to take our 10-year deal. Let's go to Nintendo, who doesn't even care about Call of Duty." And let's give them a 10-year deal.
So what's interesting? So what version of Call of Duty do they get? Does Nintendo get? Presumably this deal goes through, because that hardware, the Switch. I mean,
that's a good question.
Maybe they'll get their own Call of Duty.
They did make different versions of Call of Duty for that system.
Maybe they'll make their own.
Maybe Warzone might be something that's over there.
Hamp, you have a theory about what version they might get.
so it's interesting that when you play Fortnite, right? You on Switch, the primary affinity for who you're matchmade against is players on mobile.
Yes, they are.
And so what might make sense is it might make sense actually. I mean, well, let me take that back. What makes absolute technical sense is that what you put on Switch is Call of Duty Mobile,
which is actually still quite good.
It's great. It makes fantastic. A ton of money. I actually have much better stats and play much better on Call of Duty Mobile than I play on desktop. And there's actually an argument that that's what I should play all the time. But that's what would actually make technical sense, particularly when you talk about the fact that Call of Duty Mobile is obviously heavily engineered. Well, maybe not heavily engineered, but it would be engineered to run on NVIDIA mobile chips, which is what powers the Switch. And so it's absolutely possible that that's the version that's going to Switch, which just means that all these arguments that are running around trying to compare, oh, well, Nintendo did it, so Sony should. Again, that may not be an apples to apples comparison because we don't have all the details. One thing that I am almost 110% absolutely certain of, Nintendo is not an internet company. They are not a network services company. They have what I would argue is a barely serviceable internet online service offering.
I would second that.
I'm absolutely certain that whatever deal Microsoft made with Nintendo involves a ton of Microsoft Cloud support, because there's no way that Nintendo would have signed up to that if it requires a ton of effort on their side to make that thing go. So that's part of what Microsoft is throwing in, and that is probably absolutely obviously not part of the offering that they're making to Sony, where Microsoft would want Sony to pay them right for that level of support. So
Yeah, it's an interesting point, man. Go ahead, Forte.
No, I can't disagree. Call of Duty Mobile is actually really good, and especially in markets and regions where that game thrives the most over across seas. I can see that really taking off in that ecosystem, and I just think a lot of people on the Nintendo platform would probably enjoy something like that, just due to the fact that they haven't had a game like that on that system outside of like, competitive when it comes to like anything outside of Splatoon or Smash Brothers or something like that. Being able to connect a Switch in a regard like that would actually be kind of what Microsoft wanted. It'd be like one step closer to like getting into that mobile market. And then the Switch, even though it's considered a hybrid, it's still predominantly a system that's on the go that you could just happen to hook up to a TV. So I think that would be a really good move if they actually did it with that game. And then maybe in the future they partner with Nintendo to actually make better hardware. Who knows?
Well, the one thing I said offered was, well, maybe this deal being signed is indicative that there is new Nintendo hardware coming down the pike at some point.
Exactly.
The other thing that's an absolute possibility is, Activision has clearly conveyed that they are, making considerations of things that they're going to change in terms of how the production pipeline is kind of managed. And a lot of that points towards convergence and commonality. It's absolutely possible that Call of Duty Mobile is going to get closer to mainstream Call of Duty, and that you're going to see a lot more convergence around that, where they're maybe not entirely disparate products. But that because the pain of Call of Duty Mobile has always been that there's no continuity to desktop and console Call of Duty, right?
Right.
But it would be a pretty amazing experience, right? If there was convergence in those, and your Call of Duty Mobile account, was your desktop account. You would have to do some things to make sure people weren't, that a player like me wasn't going over to Call of Duty Mobile and just like racking up incredible stats, and making themselves appear as if they're much better on desktop. But there could absolutely be some things like, having some elements of the game in the common launcher that we're starting to see with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0, or otherwise integrating those services. And it would be a huge shot in the arm to Nintendo, and it would be a huge shot in the arm to the mobile title as well, to suddenly get that influx of additional players into its player base.
Yeah, no, we're getting kind of raked to the coals here a little bit. People saying they never mentioned Switch.
No, that it specifically mentions Nintendo Switch. It does. It's further down in other comments, in other articles, it specifically mentions that Nintendo Switch is the target platform.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, Hamp. Again, even if they didn't mention it, it's like, well, that's Nintendo's primary platform, and that would make the most sense where Microsoft would want to put that game on, because that's Nintendo's largest platform right now. So, I mean, yeah. But no, thanks for the clarification, Hamp. But all right, look, want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you all for stopping by, hanging out with us, and appreciate the time as always. Do me a favor, smash the like button, and if you're new to the show, consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. And big shout out to Slow-Mo Backslap King KD himself, who had to leave early, and also want to give a big special thank you to our guest this evening, Agent Deli. Deli, man, hey, always a pleasure, man. Always appreciate you having you on. I think the last time you were on the show, I think somebody was arguing with you about a game you actually worked on, which was funny.
No, I love it.
That
the
was
best
funny
thing in the world.
Yeah, that was actually really funny.
I love it. I love every episode that I'm on app, or every episode that I'm on BRAP. I have a ball. I have a fun time. It's always amazing to meet like-minded people or fun people to be able to talk and shoot back and forth with. So you, BRAP, Forte, Mo, and of course you, Hamp, as well too. It's just always nice to go back and forth. So my name is Dele, former AAA game developer at Ubisoft, now working for Team Green, baby. And you guys can come hang out with me on Twitter. I love all the interactions, so come talk games, because I only care about games and the games industry. So come hang out at twitter.com/agentdeli.
Thank you for that, Deli, man. Like I said, it's been always a pleasure having you on, man. Always enjoy, talking shop with you. So thank you again, man. And then we have Mr. Gaming Forte, future CEO of GameStop. Forte, you didn't give me a ooh yeah today.
Ooh yeah.
There you go. Forte, man, great to have you back on, man. Always a pleasure. And you guys have a big show tomorrow night. I said you
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We are going to be going live about probably 30 minutes to an hour before the Video Game Awards. So it's going to be on Slow Mo's channel tomorrow. So make sure you come through and hang out with us for an extended episode of DPS Podcast. And we'll do our impressions of everything after the show is over. So definitely come through for that. For myself, Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter, and Xbox Live, and PlayStation. And the only other thing I care about is hail to the victors. If you're an Ohio State fan, I'm sorry. You got to deal with this craziness for a whole. Got to deal with this craziness for a whole nother year. But hopefully you guys.
Why are you rubbing that in, man?
Wait, listen. Hopefully you guys can get through. You can get through Georgia. And hopefully we can get through TCU, because you never know what can happen there. And we can play for the biggest game of them all in the national championship game in January. It's going to be a great time. But shout out to the Michigan Wolverines. It's always they like the best college NFL team we got here in Michigan, because the Lions don't count. And other than that, you guys have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and your games you're playing.
Oh my goodness, man!
They're better than the Commanders. Well, the Commanders are actually pretty good right now.
What are you talking about, man? We're the playoff hunt.
They had that tie.
Yeah, that's a game they have to win. Like that's a game that turns the corner for the team. That's a must-have. Now, if they lose, hopefully they don't lose at home. They play the Giants again. They're bye week this week.
Back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, they have a bye week this week, but then they play Giants Sunday night. So we'll next.
Y'all gonna tie in that game too.
Oh man, I tell you, man, I just felt like that was a game we should have won, though.
Yeah, shout out to you, man. But shout out to those Michigan Wolverines and.
Look, man, I am pulling for Michigan to win national championship. Forte.
Let's go.
Because look, man, it's been how long has it been since Michigan won the national? 98.
98, baby. The year
Charles Woodson
was there.
I remember that. That was 24 years ago. And so, Harbaugh's done a great job bringing the program back to its, back to prominence. But I don't know, man. Like it'd be kind of cool to see Georgia, win back to back. But but I'm also, look, man. I'm tired of the SEC winning. Like it seems like every year.
Hey, Stetson Bennett ain't no joke. Shout out to those Georgia Bulldogs.
He's a walk-on too, man. I mean, he's a walk-on. Yeah,
they accidentally fell into him being a starter last year.
He's also like 30 years old, but
that too. No, man, let's stop.
He's not that old, but he's older. But he's not that old yet.
But shout out to Captain Crunch saying the SEC gonna run wild.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. I can't wait. This is probably the most excited I've been for a bowl season in a long time. And Michigan was there last year, and I wasn't even as excited as I am this year, because they legit got the best 4 teams in there this year, and it's gonna be fun. And then college football is coming back next year, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, well, we'll see, man. It's gonna be interesting. Like I do want to see. I'd like to see Georgia, Michigan
again, part 2.
Yeah.
I think you can't pass up that Ohio State Michigan NC that championship game.
No, I don't want to see that.
That would break records, bro.
I don't want to see that. I think Michigan already gave it to Ohio State at home. So
I want to prove that it wasn't a fluke.
I hear you. Yeah, it could be. You never know. It could be one of those things where, coming in, Michigan won, the home game at Ohio State, and then Ohio State comes back and takes, national championship.
Yeah, that would be. I'd cry.
Yeah, but
no lie. But let's get out of here before these people go Huskies.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, shout out. Yeah, go Buffalo. Let's go Colorado. Your boy.
Prime time.
Prime time out there making moves, telling the team that y'all might as well jump in that portal because I'm bringing my luggage with me.
Dion told people just jump in the portal. I'm bringing.
Jump in the portal.
I was like, wow.
I'm bringing my people with me, and his name Louis.
Man,
I love
Dion is
bro.
funny. He is funny, man. Yeah, but and last but not least, especially Lee Hampton.
Especially so the first thing I want to clean up is the people who said they didn't say Switch. So
Here we go.
What came out alongside this article is that Spencer also recently did an interview with the Washington Post where he specifically said, when asked a question about, hey, how would you make this game run on the Nintendo Switch, he said, we would do this with Minecraft as well, where we would do specific work to make the game run well on Nintendo Switch and their silicon and support their platform completely. Spencer said, we do the same when we ship on PlayStation 5. Then when he was asked if the Switch had enough technical specifications to run Call of Duty smoothly, Spencer said, Minecraft and Call of Duty are different games, but from how you get games onto Nintendo, how you run a development team that is targeting multiple platforms, that's experience we have. So there's corroboration there, and at no point did he say, we're not going to deploy it until Nintendo comes up with new hardware, yada yada yada. So I will agree that there's a, like I said, on another topic before, there's a wedge of daylight there where maybe there's a slightly different interpretation and there's new hardware coming and it will be called something different than the Switch, or it won't be an extensible, SKU of the current platform. But for the sake of the conversation, he's saying here the discussion is underway about them putting it on the Nintendo Switch. Again, I won't necessarily say it's the exact same SKU as the one you can go in stores to buy today, but that is the platform under discussion.
Knowing Nintendo, that SKU gonna be different anyway because they come out with iteration after iteration every year. So the SKU that you have today may not be the SKU tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, and then the key matter will be whether or not that new SKU actually has any additional compute or RAM or faster storage, right? Because we've got the Switch OLED, but there's really no difference between that Switch SKU and the other Switch SKU from a compute perspective. So, and then I think you were asking me to pump my social media or whatever. So what's left? So we've done our last regular show of the Enough to Keep Going podcast for the year. What we have left is the annual news wrap up, which is a special show that we do at the end of the year, and potentially more importantly, the Gaming Superlative Award. So we don't do Game of the Year because there's a lot of journalistic reasons why we think that would be inappropriate for our cast. But we do Gaming Superlatives. So I think, as I mentioned before, think about like the categories that you used to have for, your high school yearbook kind of thing. And that's the kind of way we play it out. I think we have 14 to 18 categories. Our annual news wrap up, we don't know when that's going to be because we have a scheduling conflict with doing it on our regular Sunday night time slot. So you would just have to follow my Twitter feed or check the YouTube channel to see when that's going to be. The Gaming Superlative show, however, will be not this Sunday, but Sunday after next. So I think that's the 18th. And the show normally is Sunday nights at 8:45 p.m. So the annual news wrap up, we'll do some at some point during the week, and I'll publish that on social media for anybody who wants to tune in and listen to that.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Hamp. Appreciate that. Again, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you all for hanging out with us this evening. Really appreciate the time as always. And big thank you again to our guest this evening, Agent Deli. So, look, we will be back next week unless I decide to do a rant, which I've been trying to do it, just haven't had time to do one. But you can give me a follow on the Twitters, BRAP_podcast. And yeah, everyone have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the Game Awards show tomorrow. That is tomorrow night. Enjoy it. Should be a good time. Hopefully we get some good announcements there as well. And Stray's going to win Game of the Year. So on that note, on that note, we are out. See you next time.
Oh, man.